Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
I've got to get into this story really quickly because it infuriates me. It infuriates me when I look at. I did that story the other day, but the homeless people and the hard problems, the hard times that they're having uh, around that Moreton Bay area. Okay, and the council's making it even more difficult for these people. Australians who are not being supported properly by the government. The government, our government, is making things harder for Australians. They bring in way too many foreigners, allow way too many foreigners to come into the country, more than, and I'm not against immigration or anything like that, but the government, our policy, bringing far too many people in because they want to keep the Ponzi scheme of our house pricing, our housing Ponzi scheme. They want to keep it up, keep it afloat, keep it going. It's all to raise revenue and help with their taxes. And the last thing they want is for the housing bubble to collapse, which it will one day. But they'll just keep supporting it, keep propping it up one way or another. But we've got all these issues with homeless people, Australians who are homeless. They don't care what colour, what background you've got. If you're an Australian, you should expect a modicum of support from the Australian government. Now, I don't believe in reliance of government, and I do believe that, you need to work. You should work. You should put your best foot forward and try and get out there and do something. And if you're on the dole and if you're long term on social security, uh, probably you need to go out and do something, be working for your money somehow. There's nothing in this life that's really for free. Someone is paying for it. However, if you're an Australian, we live in this nation, we should be helping the people who are born here, Australians, should be supported, should be encouraged to work, should be supported to work, should not, they shouldn't have things being made harder by their federal government, state government, or the flipping councils who I do not like. So when I read this story, it's infuriating. Bring it up, and you'll see why I find it infuriating. Okay, Pine Street Paradise, inside Lismore's Squatter Central. You remember Lismore had all those floods, okay? Lismore. Exposed inside squat house, exploiting town's tragedy. Okay, it's known as Squatter Lane, a row of homes less than 1 kilometre from its city's CBD that have become a slice of paradise for up to 50 people living rent free. More than 600 properties deemed unsafe following the devastating 2022 Lismore floods were purchased by the New South Wales Government via its Reconstruction Authority (RA) throughout 2023. Today, almost all of those homes across Greater Lismore are still dormant, boarded up, and fenced off while they await demolition or relocation. It's been an agonisingly slow rebuild for residents, a process Mayor Steve Craig, or what is it, Craig, described as a total cock-up, he said. In the thick of it all is Pine Street, also dubbed Squatters Lane by Mr. Krieg, I don't know how you pronounce his name, sorry. The state government 15, bought 15 of the properties on the street, which are now occupied mostly by foreigners. By foreigners. Mostly by foreigners who have ignored two previous attempts to evict them. There's a picture of them. Bunch of flippin' hippies sitting around, twirling their fire sticks. Crackheads. Crackheads. Anyway, look at this. Look at this. Anyway, here you go. Many of them are foreigners. Towards the end of the strip is 68 Pine Street, brought bought by the state government for 450,000 in September 2023. It now operates as a gathering space for the community. For the community. Ah, they convene there for a group meeting every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Isn't that just wonderful? The agenda varies, but each person usually contributes $5 to the weekly shop, groceries, gas before matters turn to internal relations. This is where we organise everything, our future, our ideas, and also, of course, navigate our conflict because we are a lot of people, and sometimes, like everywhere, sometimes there comes some drama. Rochelle Meliani, 28. She's 28. Rachel, who lives in the main house with her partner and several others. So, a former journalist and social advocate in a hometown of Tuscany, Italy. She's Italian. She's not Australian. She's squatting here for free. A social advocate. Miss Meliani is aware her free living situation is illegal. It's funny because I thought when someone who's not born here, someone who's here on a visa, if you come in the country and you start behaving in an illegal fashion, last time I looked, the government could come, pick you up, and transport you out of the country. That's what I thought we were doing. Anyway, she's aware that her free living situation is illegal, having been handed her first eviction notice in June last year. It is coming towards the end of February, people. February 2025. Got a first notice in June. 1 week after News.com visited the squatters in January, they were handed a second notice to evict within 7 days, though many are still refusing to budge. The RA has now commenced legal proceedings as a last resort, a process which could be drawn out for months. I don't understand why we, Australians, why our government always wastes money arguing with people who are doing things illegally and they're not even from Australia. Have you ever heard of just going in there and arresting people? Pushing them out by, oh, crikey. Here you go, nice little sign here if you're following along on video. The number of squatters have grown significantly to what was there when we first became aware of the issue last year. RA's executive director. Anyway, well, we really wanted the occupants to leave of their own accord. However, they haven't. That's because you haven't been tough enough. It's disappointing because this is really diverting funding, resources, and effort away from what the RA is intending to do. Funding that Australian taxpayers pay. This funding, it's not for free. It's taxpayers, Australians pay it. So the little Italian girl can go and live there for free. The program is to support people who have been directly impacted by the floods. However, Ms. Meliani stressed their presence was not a case of taking advantage. Not at all. You read this. This is what made me really frustrated because I'm like, she's doing us a favour, apparently. She goes on. Rather, she said, an opportunity for the squatters to give back to a community in need of connection. Oh, can you hear the little hippie harps playing? Freaking hey. Lismore lived a trauma after the flood. This is what she's saying. The little Italian girl from Italy, not Australian. I didn't mention it. Lismore lived a trauma after the flood, and I think that this is like a kind of healing. Squatters living in houses they didn't pay for is a healing. To go on after this natural disaster, we can do a lot of stuff for the community, not just for us, she said. It's really nice. It's a nice social experiment that none of us pay for, but the taxpayer pays for in the order of $450,000 for one house. And we try to live all together, sharing. And also, we organised our first public event because the goal for us is to get more connected to the Lismore community. Look at her. That's her there. Nice little Italian lady sitting here illegally in a house that she doesn't own. But, she's doing us a favour. She's doing the community a favour. The Pine Street residents held their first event just before Christmas, a festive theme showcase with singing, dancing, and fire breathers. You can see it now, all the flippin' hippies. We would like have this place open for everyone, not just no. I'll say this again. I'm so annoyed I can't even talk properly. We would like have this because she's not talk she can't talk proper English, so it's the phrasing is weird. We would like have this place open for everyone, just for them to come and be together with workshops and open mic nights. Miss Meliani said. So it sounds like she's kind of like thinking, hey, let's start a kind of a business, a little social business, a little artist business. A lot of us are artists. So, of course, the music, the theatre is something that is inside our blood. Well, I'll tell you something. We don't need more crackhead musicians, and I'm a musician, okay? We don't need any Italian musicians coming over here or theatre buffs or whatever you want to call yourself. We would like how does she talk? We would like organize, what? We would like organize more moments where the people can feel safe and really welcome. Despite two attempts to move the group on, Miss Meliani claims to have had pleasant relations with local police. The disappointing thing, if this was an Australian, the local police would boot them out. But they would be dragging them out. But our slogan is occupation until a relocation. That's it. They've even got a slogan. So when the government started to have a plan and present us this plan, we are ready to step back, she said. So when the government has a plan, then did you read that nonsense? When the government, their slogan is occupation until a relocation. So when the government had to have a plan and present us this plan, so it's all on them. The backpackers, the foreigners, they're calling the shots in our country. They've taken over a street, taken over houses that the country, that Australia owns, the government owns. The people of New South Wales own it. Their state government brought it. And the foreigners have come and said, oh no, we're just going to come here and live for free. And, when you come up with a plan that we like, then we'll step back. Then we'll step back and let you do what you want. But until then, we're just here for the community. You are so blessed to have us. You're so blessed that we get to live in this community. You are blessed with our presence. That's what they're saying. She needs to be booted out. Her and all of her cohort need to be grabbed, picked up, forced into a vehicle, taken to one of the camps that they have where they put all the people who overstay their visas, and the next day put into a plane, get a parachute on her back, and just when they go over Italy, just open the door. Here you go, love. Go back to Tuscany. Ridiculous. What infuriates me is that we mistreat Australians. Like what's happening in Moreton Bay. We mistreat our own people. And yet nufties it's nothing against Italians. I love Italians, but nufties from other countries come here and just do whatever we want. We put up with it. What the flip? This is all my opinion. Let me know what you think. Am I just overreacting? Shouldn't be this furious? I don't know. I just feel like people really take advantage of us. And just the arrogance. We're here to serve the community. You're better off because we're here. We can play some music and dance, live in our little free commune, have some fire sticks. Idiots. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening. Slippery slope. Check out my music. Check out my music. Don't worry about theirs.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. And nothing's gonna just focus on me going. I am a prize.